This is Cruise Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
That's right. You are on Cruise Control. Welcome, everyone. It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson, and we're about to take you on a ride around the automotive industry. Plenty of news, lots of good information, Les Jackson, if somebody is thinking about buying a new vehicle.
Well, that is very, very true. And of course, there are plenty of new vehicles to buy, starting with Hyundai. And they just scored 11 of its new models getting the Safety Pick or Safety Pick Plus rating. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it sure is, Les. And they have a lot of news to talk about. And so does Mercedes. They're taking the wraps off its tech-loaded S-Class flagship sedan, which features a sound system with more than 30 speakers.
Absolutely. And, well, this kind of is not too much of a surprise, but Ford has bumped the Bronco to 2022, but rewards its patient buyers. Boy, this is looking like the Thunderbird all over.
Yeah, and Toyota's chief urges governments not to ban the internal combustion engine so quickly.
That is correct. And over at Formula One, they may become the test bed for clean synthetic fuels.
Yep. And we're asking this hour, has Chevy already showed off the plans for the C9 Corvette?
I have one in my driveway.
Excellent.
It's a 1,000 horsepower four-cylinder engine, 3-speed manual.
On the column.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
On the column.
Hey, well, we have a picture of what we think might be a little design study about the Corvette. We don't know whether it was for the C8 or the C9. You can check that out on our Facebook page, our Cruise Control Radio Facebook page. We're going to get to all those stories and more when we get rolling on this edition of Cruise Control Radio. So stay tuned because we are just getting started. Les, have you been buying anything for the holiday season?
Actually, not really. Just basically food type gifts for friends.
All right. Well, do you know, this is kind of a funny story. Hot Wheels is coming out with a Cybertruck, a model of the Cybertruck, and they just announced it's going to be late. It won't. It won't make it. It's so accurate.
Handy.
It's so accurate. It's going to be late, just like all the other products from the folks over at Tesla.
Yeah.
So.
And are parts going to fall off?
The wheels will fly off when you do one of those loop-de-loop courses that Hot Wheels are known for. Well, I don't know about that, but it is definitely delayed. So if you were hoping for one of those in your stocking, it's just not going to happen, at least until maybe next year. Hey, Fred Staab and Les Jackson, we're glad you're with us. When we come back, big scores, safety scores for Hyundai. So stay tuned. Listen to the live feed of Cruise Control Radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com to find out how to do it. Is your car starting to show its age? Over time, paint becomes oxidized, faded, and scratched. But you can restore that tired paint and repair those scratches with the paint restoration system from 3M. It's an affordable way to make those repairs in your garage in just one afternoon with basic tools. The kit contains all of the restoration products and polishing pads you need to bring your vehicle's paint back to like-new condition. For more information, visit www.3mcarcare.com.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. You're on our automotive magazine. Les Jackson, Fred Staab. We are getting all set for the holidays. We are not consuming any eggnog at the moment.
No. Yeah, I leave that sit out in the sun for a while before I,
Oh,
so it
that's
gets nice
just,
and
yeah,
warm.
it gets that nice, lovely curdle of the top.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, something that will curdle the hackles of the safety people, Hyundai has really come on strong with 11 of their models getting top safety pick, which is, I don't think anybody's ever done that before.
No, I think the manufacturers are even stepping up their game even more than they have in the past. And it's become, this is the smartest way to do this. Basically, they have made safety a way for car builders, car manufacturers, vehicle manufacturers to make more money because the more you get, the safer the vehicle is. And if you can get that top safety pick, well, you can sell your car for more money. And
That's right.
now it's a real competition, right?
It is. Some years ago, it was a real competition to have cup holders and off-road capability and some of these other fads, which were, mostly just trimmings, but safety is a really big deal.
Well, let's look at some of the award-winning Hyundais here. Hyundai Venue SUV. Of course, gets that top safety pick with specific headlights. Once again, big story here of 2020 was the fact that if you did not have those LED headlights, you did not get a great safety rating. We think they're probably going to be standard across the board eventually, right?
Oh, without question. And this is true of the Kona.
And by the way, on the Venue, remember, this is a vehicle, I believe it starts at like $17,000. So it's
Yeah, it's amazing.
not an expensive vehicle. But you're right. Next up, Kona, right?
Kona, which is very popular.
Yeah.
I have a cousin who bought one on my recommendation. And again, they have LED headlights.
Yep.
You gotta do it.
And here you had to go for the optional front crash prevention. We've been seeing manufacturers make this standard or make it available to other trim levels other than the high-end trim level, because that was a hit that a lot of manufacturers took. They said, well, you have all this great safety equipment, but you have to buy the leather seats and the moonroof to get it, when a lot of people just want the safety things. So
That's right. Actually, I call this might as well marketing. And the idea is the cost of whatever you want to buy is already 30, 35, whatever. And you look at just that next trim level up with all of the incredible crash protection, and it's a might as well thing. Well, gee, I might as well get everything
as a
for a
dealer
couple thousand more.
would say, it's only $20 more a month.
That's right, for 12 years, but it's still
Still only
it's
$20.
that's what the heck.
Yeah. Moving
And
moving on the list, Les, virtually all of their crossovers seem to get great ratings. Santa Fe,
yeah,
with got a top safety pick with specific headlights. Hyundai Nexto SUV, top safety pick plus. Hyundai Palisade SUV, top safety pick plus.
very popular.
And Hyundai Palisade SUV 2020 model year got top safety pick with specific headlights. And it's not just crossovers, also the Elantra GT, the Veloster, and the Sonata. So big news over at Hyundai. I'm sure they're going to be making a commercial about that, wouldn't you say?
Without question. And here's a perfect example. The Elantra is what used to be called entry level. Now I think it's better said basic transportation. But here you've got everything.
Yeah, you definitely have everything. We see manufacturers like Nissan making all these standard safety items, safety items standard across their line. And it doesn't mean if you get a less expensive vehicle that you're going to have something that's not safe. It has all these things in it. look at this Hyundai Venue, as I mentioned before, it's a $17,000 car, and it has all of these safety features, and it's even available with LED headlights. So all good news, right?
Absolutely. Hyundai is doing philosophically what Studebaker used to do, which is always give the customer more than they expect.
Yep. All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to give you more than you expect, at least when it comes to a stereo system. Mercedes talks about its S-Class flagship sedan with more than 30 speakers. 30, count them less. We'll be right back. For the latest updates on cruise control, follow us on Twitter at Cruise Control Rad. That's CRUISECTRLRAD. Cruise Control Rad.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson telling you about what's going on in the automotive industry. We started this hour with great news from Hyundai, with lots of great safety ratings on basically everything in their lineup. Now we're going to move on to something a little bit more expensive, and that is the next generation Mercedes S-Class flagship, top-of-the-range sedan.
Yes. A rather pricey sedan, because it starts at $109,800.
But you do get heated seats for that.
You get heated seats, and floor mats are only $11,000 additional. Now, I mean, it's well known to be a super luxurious high-end car, but you're paying for it.
Well, you're also getting every bit of technology that manufacturers can muster. Of course, what would any modern car be without a large screen, multimedia touchscreen? And Mercedes does not disappoint with a 12.8-inch OLED multimedia touchscreen. By the way, we have a picture of this vehicle over on our Facebook page.
It's quite handsome.
It is handsome. It is elegant. It makes a statement. The interior has all new technology like active ambient lighting that will enhance the interior experience, according to Mercedes. And it will flash to identify the current speaker when interacting with the MBUX entertainment system. One of my favorite things is a 360-degree surround view camera with a new 3D view assist that allows the driver to easily, conveniently park and unpark. Is that a word? Unpark. Can you unpark your car, please?
Unpark? I don't want that word. That word belongs in the same category as deplane.
That's what
to me
what
is
you
the
wrote.
most ignorant word that was ever invented.
No, that's like when they say, Les, how'd you get out to Las Vegas? You say, I took deplane.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize
that's what they were
it meant.
saying there. Yeah, but
okay.
This is the other thing that I thought you would like about this Mercedes S-Class. And neither of us have driven this. It just came out. But there is a Burnmester 4D surround sound system. Includes 30 speakers and 8 resonators. And the 2 resonators are integrated into the backrest of each seat. So you get a massage, basically.
You also get a lifetime free visits to an audiologist for hearing tests and damage. But that's okay.
Now, here's another feature that I think is making a comeback. We talked about this a little bit on Cruise Control. There's an available rear axle steering that will steer the rear wheels up to 10 degrees. That helps.
That's a lot.
Improve the maneuverability on narrow city streets.
That's a lot, because two degrees is considered fairly substantial.
This is making I think we're going to see this,
We are, yeah,
you know.
we are. As things get a little more cramped, traffic gets a little bit more dense,
Hmm.
as if it could. This is something that I think every manufacturer is going to offer in some of their vehicles.
And let's talk power. You can get a straight six inline engine that has been electrified, i.e., hybrid, with an output of 429 horsepower, 384 pound-feet of torque, and an electrified V8 bi-turbo engine on the new Mercedes-Benz S580 4MATIC that has an output of 496 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. By the way, no more V12s here.
No, well, I mean, really, do we need a V12?
So they start at 109,000. If you go to the luxury line, that's $116,300. The AMG line pops it up to 120,600, and then the executive line with 4MATIC, S580 4MATIC. They're all 4MATIC, actually, I believe.
Yeah, I think they are.
That's $131,450. But it does come with rear energizing comfort, a rear energizing comfort package.
Oh, well.
And rear wireless charging. I love wireless charging.
Oh, I love that.
But
131 grand will buy you a pretty decent condo in a
listen to the sound of this. I like this. The warmth and comfort package with heated
like
steering
that.
wheel, heated front and rear armrests, rear seat heating, electronic rear seats with memory and energizing comfort, 10-degree rear axle steering. This is a lot of stuff. That's why
It is a lot of stuff. And yeah, I would argue against the energizing comfort wealth massage seating systems as boosting drivers' attentiveness. I love them. We both experience them. I find them so relaxing. I want to go to sleep.
I want to unbolt it from the vehicle and take it in and say,
The same here.
I'll just make this my new office chair. How would that be?
Well, then I'd have to
Doing
wake
the
you up.
radio show with the energizing comfort and warmth.
Wouldn't that be great?
I think it'd be wonderful. I would like that a lot. But we will have more about the Mercedes S-Class, the brand new S-Class, as it becomes available to drive because it is quite the machine. I happen to love when they come out with all these new luxury features because it's like, what do we do now? Because even some of the less expensive cars have things, large displays for infotainment and things like that. So they have to keep pushing the game. I guess one way you push it is by adding 30 speakers, right?
That's true. You know what you don't see much listed anymore in luxury cars is adaptive suspensions.
Yeah, I mean you don't really see that much here. I don't know if it's in there, but I do like the steering. I think that is pretty
I
cool.
think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about Ford bumping over the Bronco to 2022. This is kind of an offset of or a result of COVID. You think about this, some of the Corvette owners were bumped over to the 2022 model year. Some were upset about it. I wouldn't be because the new one comes with things like wireless, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay, and a few other upgrades for no extra cost. So I would be like, you know what? Bump me over.
Sure.
But they're going to be rewarding these Bronco folks for waiting. We'll tell you how. And then, very interesting piece this week with Toyota urging governments not to ban the internal combustion engine so quickly. We'll talk about that and how Formula One may become the test bed for synthetic fuels, which will be interesting. And has Chevy revealed the C9 Corvette? Well, you can go over to our Facebook page and click on the design. This came right from GM design, Les. So it's not like somebody doing Photoshop or something like that. We don't know whether this is a future design, whether they're floating a test balloon, or they are just showing off something that was part of the design process. But
I think it's that.
that it was part of the design process, and that they
Yeah, it's
yeah.
too soon to really to
What
be
well,
coming up with it.
the C7 only lasted 5 years, so they certainly
I know, but the C8's only been 2 years.
well, and barely that. Who knows? Maybe they're. I'm sure they're drawing it already. So
Oh, I'm sure they are.
well, we'll talk about that and a whole lot more when we come back on Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. Stay tuned because we're just getting started. Check us out at our Facebook page and more. We'll be right back. Cruise Control Radio goes live every Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. To listen, click the link on our homepage. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Les and Fred here. And as we mentioned before the break, it looks like the Bronco, if you ordered one, well, whether or not you ordered one, it's going to be a little bit more time. In fact, it's going to be bumped to a 2022 model year. This is one of the fallouts of COVID, of course.
Absolutely. You know, I don't know if do people get upset about that? I guess some people do. But this comes from a member of the Bronco 6G forum. That's another thing that I found, that as soon as there's a new vehicle that's exciting, somebody starts a forum about it, which is good. They're going to do is they're going to compensate the folks for being patient. Ford is going to compensate them. They're invited to join the Ford Pass Rewards loyalty program. When they take delivery of their Bronco, they will earn 42,000 points valued at over $200, which can be used towards maintenance and service, accessories, and other benefits at dealerships. An additional 20,000 points will be given to them upon delivery, so for a total of about 62,000 points, which is just over $300. And there are some hundreds of accessories available. Don't you know, they'll probably be like, oh, well, the cheapest accessory is $325. I don't know, but it's nice that they're doing that. I don't want to make fun of them. It's nice that they're doing that. I'm sure it will result in people buying accessories for their vehicles. I think this will become like the Wrangler, where it's one of the most accessorized vehicles out there. This will be the second most accessorized vehicle in the Ford lineup, the first being the Mustang. And, you know, this is a great way to get the folks thinking about accessories, right?
Well, it is. And also, you know, it sounds typically when we want to buy something, we want it now. But if you think about it, waiting till 2022 isn't that big a deal, because right now you're still not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And you won't be going anywhere, most people, until probably late spring.
That's true.
So you'd only be waiting 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I think probably some people will. But you know what? They're waiting for this vehicle, and I would ask you this: if it was a Corvette you were waiting on, and you had ordered a 2021 or a 2020, and you're getting a 2021 now, would you be upset?
No,
Some
not at
people,
all.
or some people want the very first year of production. I just don't get. I'd rather say take your time and build it correctly. And hey, look, by bumping me
Exactly.
to next year, I get a few nice things that I wouldn't be able to add to the first year of production, because I don't think you could add wireless Apple CarPlay to it. I don't think so. There's
Yeah,
probably a
that's
way,
right.
but it's probably not easy.
And, some people in the case of the Bronco might decide to just give up and get a Jeep. But I don't think so. Now, I think what will happen though is we've already had the launch of the Bronco.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have to be relaunched for the media because it's going to be out of our minds in ways by then.
Yeah. Yeah,
So we'll have to have yet another launch.
that's right. I know you got it to look at it up close, and you thought it looked
Yeah.
pretty cool, right?
But they even told me, they said the dashboard won't actually look like this.
This is a basic one. It's made out of
Yeah.
cardboard.
They said, don't touch the instruments.
Whatever you do, don't try to tune the radio because it's hot glued on, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of another takeoff on COVID. And, I think probably most people will appreciate the added $300 or so worth of accessories, and
Sure.
we'll roll with it. I think I would. So, hey, you're listening to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. Plenty more to go. Interesting story this week from the head of Toyota talking about don't ban the internal combustion engine right away. He said, this is a quote, car ownership could become a flower on a high summit. This is Akio Toyoda, which is spelled Toyoda, the actual spelling of the name. Why
That's
did
right.
they ever put a T in it?
I think that it back in the 60s when Toyota was beginning to bring cars over here, I think Toyota just sounded more English.
Yeah. Because it's so close. It almost sounds like Toyota, Toyota. It's real close. Well, this was an interesting talk, and I tend to agree with it. You and I have said the solution isn't tomorrow we all go completely electric. The solution is a mix of things that eventually get us away from fossil fuels, but internal combustion could still play a role with hydrogen power, with synthetic fuels. It's not necessarily a one size fits all. We all have to have electric everything. And I think the point that he is making here is you can't. He's talking about there would be blackouts in Japan if they suddenly switch to all electric cars. I think it has to be a transition, and it will happen. But by the way, this was first these were some remarks from Akio Toyoda during the Japan Automobile Manufacturers Association news conference. He is the chairman there, and his comments were reported by the Wall Street Journal. He said, before we can go all electric, the grid has to be improved. And I agree with this because I think you can't say, oh, we're going to just make everyone's going to switch over to electric cars. We're going to ban internal combustion cars and not improve the grid. You have to have a plan to improve the grid. I have not heard that
That's
from
true.
politicians. Have you?
Well, no, because first of all, they're not paying attention to that at the moment. But secondly, everybody knows in the auto industry, you have to phase all this in slowly.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do this in 1 or 2 years. And we are pretty well maxed out on our power grid too. So what you don't want to do is build a whole bunch of new coal-fired power plants. You want to, think this out.
Mm-hmm.
And phase all of this in along with new energy systems,
Mm-hmm.
so that once everything's ready, say in 10 years for a massive phase in of electric cars, everything will be set up.
Yeah. Yeah. So far, I've just heard people say, I like electric cars. They're shiny.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be great? And it's sort of like, imagine if everyone, let's say they're going to charge them at home. It's like everyone adding an electric dryer to their
hmm
garage and turning it on,
Every day.
and probably roughly at the same time. Well, but once again, everything's changed. Maybe everyone isn't getting home at 6 o'clock, 6:30, and plugging their car in, right? I don't know. It's
Well,
it
the
has
other
to.
thing,
It's more
uh,
than just like let's switch over. It has to be a bigger switch than that.
that's right. Also, let me get your opinion on this. Right now the average American household has 2.9 cars,
That point
vehicles.
nine. What is that? Is that a
That's usually
sidecar?
one of my cars that's not running.
Or half is
Uh,
rusted and the other half
that's
isn't?
that's right. But with this whole new world that we've started experiencing, where a large percentage of the population will continue to work from home, I think the average household number of vehicles is also going to go down.
I don't know about that because I think people are seeing cars, and when we talk about this coming up a little bit later, we're going to have a study that Ford did. People are seeing cars as the only way to escape. They can no longer go to the movies. They can't go out to a restaurant in many cases. They can't be in groups. They can't go to concerts. So the only way they can get out is in their safe bubble called the car. And that allows them to get away and get out of the house. Otherwise, they're trapped in the house.
That's true, but that's a temporary thing.
And that's true. That's true. That's just right now. But hey, when we come back, we'll have some more of the head of Toyota's remarks. And we're also going to look at synthetic fuels for Formula One. And has Chevy already showed up plans for the C9 Corvette? All that and more on Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. Stay tuned. Cruise Control Radio goes live every Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. To listen, click the link on our homepage. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com. Feeling a little dim? Don't blame your brain or the weather. Hazy headlights may be the problem. Hazed or cloudy plastic headlights can reduce your vehicle's visibility on the road, making it very difficult to see the road and for other cars to see you. Now you can restore plastic headlight lenses to like-new clarity with the Lens Renewal Kit from 3M, an easy-to-use solution for removing the yellowing and hazing that reduces headlight performance and visibility. For more information, visit www.3mcarcare.com.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staab. He's Les Jackson. We're glad you tuned in. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com or like us on Facebook or the rest of the socials. All the links are there. A lot going on our Facebook page. You'll want to check out that potential C9 Corvette sketch from the folks over at GM Design. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We've been talking about how Akio Toyota was talking to the Japan Automobile Manufacturers Association, saying that if we go all electric too soon, it can be problems for the grid. It can be problems for people even owning a car. And I think one of the big problems they have in Tokyo is where would people charge them?
Yeah. Well,
So
same thing here.
yeah,
We don't exactly have a huge charging infrastructure.
no, yeah. So maybe one way, though, is to have, let's say, a hydrogen fuel cell or keep building internal combustion engines, but burn something else other than
Yeah.
fossil fuels. And that's one idea that Formula One has. Starting in 2021, Formula One cars will need to use fuel with at least 10% biofuel content. Interesting, right, Les?
Well, that'll affect them a lot. I mean, if you think about it, you're trying to get maximum horsepower out of these engines and maximum reliability under very difficult circumstances. So, just throwing good old pump gas in is not that simple.
Yeah. Well, the organization has set a goal to hit zero carbon emissions by 2030, and this will be a sustainable fuel. With that, the sustainable fuels will be key role in that. My feeling is they burn more energy just moving the stuff all around the world. That's the bigger problem.
Yeah.
I would say maybe what they need to do is have on each continent, a race car and race car transporter, so you don't have to move them all around by ship. What do you think about that? Too
That would make,
expensive. It's so
well,
expensive
except,
already,
yeah, who has to pay, who's going to pay for those race cars? Those things are what, 10 million a piece?
I don't know, but to me that's where they burn a lot of fuel, moving everything around there. I always thought
Yeah.
about that. That's
They're-
huge to get stuff from one
Yeah,
part
they
of the
load
world
them,
to the other.
load them into cargo 747s and
Yeah, talk about
wow.
So I think the cars are the least of the problem there. But we'll see. I like seeing racing drive technology. Has always driven technology for a long time,
Yeah.
and it's really good. Let's move on to the peel and stick customization idea here, Les, and then we'll get into our story on the C9 Corvette. Do you know now you can buy fake velocity stacks for your C8 Corvette? Of course, the engine is visible in the back. And now you can get, it sounds like something that'd be on page 38 of the J.C. Whitney catalog.
The venerable J.C. Whitney catalog.
Peel and stick. It's as easy as that, and customize your car. These are a little bit more expensive, but they come from Custom Creations. That's CRE8IONS. And they're set to look like fake intake trumpets. You know what these are. These are like Hillborn injection stack injectors. Right. It's not cheap, though. A full set is $1,495.
Wow.
And it requires a $750 deposit to pre-order. They appear to be made out of polished aluminum or stainless steel and fasten into the plastic engine cover. No thanks.
Thanks anyway.
The peel and stick custom, man, get some of those chrome side moldings and maybe like some vents for the side. That would be nice, right?
Yeah, in the old days they used to say if it doesn't run, chrome it.
Yeah.
And this is just one of these things that you think, okay, who are you trying to impress?
The dumbest thing I ever saw at Corvettes or Carlisle is someone made a kit to make your Corvette look like a Viper. That is the most useless thing out there. Like, why would you? Why would you do that?
Pretty useless.
So, but here's something that's interesting. It popped up on the web, and it comes right from GM Design. I put their Instagram post up on our Facebook page, our Cruise Control Radio Facebook page. If you want to head on over there and check that out, and while you're there, throw us a like. We would like that. It's hard to say whether this design was a design study for the C8, or perhaps it is the next gen Corvette, the C9, but it does come from GM Design, and it is quite an involved sketch. It shows a lot of interesting body shapes. It is certainly a mid-engined vehicle, just from the proportions of it. I kind of like it, actually.
I have to say, I like it myself.
Yeah. I like how the spoiler is integrated into the back. It's not a bolt-on. And I don't know. Do you think this is something new, or do you think this was just an early design sketch?
I have a feeling it was just a design concept, and maybe a design concept that they're saving for the next model to work from.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a drawing of, okay, this is what we're going to plan to build. I think it's somewhere in between.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what happens with this, but I kind of like it. I have to say,
Yeah.
I like how and if you go over to the Facebook page, you can follow along with this, but I like the integrated spoiler. I like how the window, the engine kind of goes into the rear window. It's a little bit different than what we have now. And I like how the scoop really basically is integrated into the into the whole side there. It doesn't look stuck on, you know. So I think it's pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a model.
Yeah. It looks like those spray out things, you know, what they have in body shops that they spray those things out and then they kind of look at the paint. I think that's what it looks like. So pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff, right?
It is cool. And it would be fun I would just love to spend a few days in the design studios.
But then we never hear from you because you wouldn't be allowed to leave. You would be like, well, we can show you it, but you have to wait till the vehicle's released. So here's a cot. Here's a cot right next to the clay model, and you can sit there and stay there. That's probably what will happen to you.
You can get us coffee.
Yeah, we'll let you go to the meetings, but that's it. So you're listening to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. We're glad you have been along for the ride with us. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, where you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. It's all there. All the social connections are there. Always good. We put a lot of photos up of the vehicles we're talking about, the vehicles we review, so you can follow along. What do you think? We started off with that story of the Hot Wheels being late, the Cybertruck.
Amazing. It's quite a year.
Quite a year. But hey, there you have it. Hey, we appreciate you listening to the show. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road. Cruise Control Radio is your on-air automotive magazine. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com for more information.